What is this? Crypto! What the hey, dude? I thought you destroyed the whole Superman robots. I thought I told you to keep an eye on him.
We feed the canine, but he is unruly. And he realizes we are not flesh and blood and couldn't, in our heart of hearts, care less whether he lives or dies.
Welcome back, super friends. What's the hubbub? I have a reaction from Tyrone Magnus to this recent new Superman footage. I think it relates well to some concerns from a recent spoiler-free review that's out there, and I cover that in this edition of The Hubbub. I know I get labeled as a Tyrone Magnus defender, but I just think there is a difference in his approach to actual Snyder Bros.
This is so different. Even from The Adventures of Superman, it's different. It's so hokey, silly, comic booky. Many people say it's meant for children. Maybe it is. Maybe it's meant for children and meant to be a family movie, but several movies that are meant for children and meant to be family movies make billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, and I have loved those movies, and so have you.
He is not boycotting the movie. He has purchased tickets to see it and says even if disliked some trailers, if it's good, he will come out and say so.
It has to be good. Doesn't matter if it's marketed toward children and parents and families. If it's good, it's going to make that money. We'll see. I believe Superman is similar to Star Wars in that the name itself sells it, but there's a point where it will no longer. And there's been a long list of bad movies and TV shows recently involving superheroes. And in a lot of normies' minds, they group them all together. They don't care who's making them. All they know is all or majority of the superhero movies and TV shows have been garbage.
Maybe some aren't enthusiastic as the core fandom, and that's okay. The movie has to prove itself. There may be a segment of the general audience that gets confused by it being comic book heavy.
No, that's canon in the comics.
Is it? I didn't know that. I think you came up with it.
It's kind of been forgotten, but that's from the comics. And I was sitting with Tom King, the comic book writer, which everyone at comicbook.com probably knows. And I was like, the thing that I just don't really know how to reconcile in myself is the glasses, because the glasses have always bothered me. As a kid, they bothered me because I don't have that much suspension of disbelief to believe that, they're two different people. Even though I think out of all the actors that have played Superman, Corenswet looks the most different as Clark Kent to Superman, even more so than Chris Reeves. But he said, there's an answer for that in the comics. It's canon that they're hypno glasses, that they hypnotize people.
And a segment who continues the Star-Lord comparison towards how Corenswet acts in scenes. I still contend that any Star-Lord comparisons are potentially a forced association due to knowing Gunn made the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Peter Quill, and I am not some starry-eyed waif here to succumb to your pelvic sorcery.
That is not what is happening. No.
This Superman version is as idealistic as Smallville's portrayal by Tom Welling, a very early career superhero that's overly confident and heavily idealistic at the same time. With that said, I'll share the entirety of the spoiler-free review for transparency, even though it irritates me to read the go-to critique of him being like Star-Lord, though I've long heard there's some Tobey Maguire-era Peter Parker, which I see as a positive, and that bit does make me optimistic. By the way, like, comment, and subscribe if enjoying the content. Please. The review states the following: James Gunn's Superman brilliantly reboots the hero for a new era, but casual viewers may get confused. So far, the positive early buzz around Gunn's direction make it highly probable the film will have the legs to carry it past the $700 million mark, especially if it receives strong word of mouth and repeat viewership. Superman is a strong, ambitious entry in the superhero genre. Its only real stumbling block is how much it leans into the rich, sometimes convoluted comic book canon. But if you're willing to embrace a bit of confusion along the way, you'll find a film with heart, vision, and a genuine love for the Man of Steel. David Corenswet gives a heartfelt performance, anchoring the film in humanity, even as Clark Kent navigates cosmic stakes. The movie dazzles with emotional depth, strong character chemistry, well-placed humor, and cinematic spectacle. David Corenswet's Clark Kent.
He's not human. He's an alien, and he has these powers that nobody else has. And he's sort of always had these powers that nobody else has.
What is this? Crypto! What the hey, dude? I thought you destroyed the whole Superman robots. I thought I told you to keep an eye on him.
We feed the canine, but he is unruly. And he realizes we are not flesh and blood and couldn't, in our heart of hearts, care less whether he lives or dies.
And at the same time, he wants desperately to be a part of humanity. So ultimately, the dramatic stakes of Superman as a character is that he is lonely and he doesn't want to be.
Ow, ow, stop. Ow, stop it. Crypto, ow, ow, stop it, stop. Sit, stay.
Appears to blend the heartfelt charm of Star-Lord with the earnest sincerity of Raimi's Peter Parker. Like Star-Lord, he brings a warm, slightly awkward charisma, emotionally grounded, and a little goofy in a lovable way. At the same time, he channels Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker through his humble demeanor, moral clarity, and underdog relatability, presenting a Superman who feels human first and heroic second. The result is a version of Clark that's both emotionally resonant and quietly compelling, kind-hearted.
He was born on the planet Krypton. But the Man of Steel comes to life in California.
Not a finished visual effect.
Inside an edit room in Burbank.
We just got some of the visual effects. This is actually not a finished visual effect shot.
James Gunn reviews a scene from what Warner Brothers hopes is a summer blockbuster.
I think your Superman could have saved Kevin Costner's Jonathan Kent in the
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to think, my character in Twisters didn't get a really final ending, but I'd like to think that when he gets dropped by the side of the road and mud splattered on him, Superman comes in and is just like, hey, buddy, it's okay. Like, you need to be a little nicer, but you'll be okay.
Superman. He's forging a path to rule the Earth. Thirsting for power.
It has so many enemies.
I was sent here to be a good man.
I will destroy him.
Good luck with that.
Rated PG-13. In theaters everywhere July 11th.
Outsider, with just enough awkward charm to feel real, where some viewers might feel lost. Gunn layers in multiple comic book villains, each with morally gray motivations and intricate backstories. If you're not familiar with the deeper DC lore, the rapid introduction of lesser-known characters and their tangled connections to Lex Luthor can be disorienting. Where it stumbles for the casual viewers, complex comic lore, Gunn dives deep into DC mythology, bringing in multiple villains, Lex Luthor, Metamorpho, the Engineer, Ultraman, Rick Flag Sr., and Eve Teschmacher. While fans of the comics will appreciate the layers, casual audiences may feel overwhelmed by the dense backstories and rapid introductions. Action overload, while the set pieces are impressive and often emotionally charged, the film occasionally prioritizes spectacle over breathing room. Some quieter character moments feel rushed or underdeveloped, especially in the second half. The final act is such a payoff and sets up world building well enough to win over the majority of viewers, The unknown is how many comic book enthusiasts for market there are who will boost the movie up, when some normies and less informed fans might not turn out for repeated viewings. A love letter to the comics is a bold decision. Can it pay off? We shall see. I think if you are a Superman and DC fan at your core, you should be enthusiastic as ever.
Corenswet is embracing the challenge. Trained in the theater, Reeve was a graduate of the Juilliard School in New York, as is the new Superman, David Corenswet.
I don't think there's any way or reason to try to sort of live up to Christopher Reeve. I just feel grateful to get to play that character that he embodied and put into the public consciousness in such a positive and strong way.
Corenswet is 31, 7 years older than Reeve when he made his debut in 1978. We met Corenswet at the Arden Theater in Philadelphia.
The last play I did here was Our Town.
It's Corenswet's hometown, where he still lives, and it's here at the Arden where he landed his first paid gig.
And this is the theater that I did my first professional play in when I was 9 years old.
Is that this?
Yeah, this is
All My Sons?
All My Sons by Arthur Miller. So these are my scenes with my lines highlighted.
He wanted to read from his original script.
You're finally up.
Where's Tommy? Oh, sorry. I'd be very good.
Yeah, very good.
I'd like to point out, I wasn't given time to prepare.
I love this play.
Corenswet, like his Superman, is immediately disarming.
Yeah.
As well as vulnerable.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
As in this scene with his girlfriend, reporter Lois Lane.
Miss Lane.
Played by Rachel Brosnahan.
People were going to die! He is definitively different from everybody else on Earth. He is not human. He's an alien, and he has these powers that nobody else has. And at the same time, he wants desperately to be a part of humanity. So ultimately, the dramatic stakes of Superman as a character is that he is lonely and he doesn't want to be.
He also has a sense of humor about those red shorts.
Without the trunks, the uniform can look very military. So he puts the red underwear on, A, so that everybody can see him. Against the blue sky, you can see the red trunks. B, so that everybody knows he doesn't take himself too seriously. He's not trying to look cool. I wear my trunks on the outside of my pants, like it's liberating. Now that doesn't in any way undermine how badass and cool he is when he's up in the sky fighting the bad guys. But once he touches down, he wants to be the one that people can laugh at or make fun of because he can take it.
As always, look up, not back. Eyes to the skies and take care of yourselves and others.